Hello and good morning. I am Janie Buckland with the West Virginia Few Families United for Education, and I am joined today by Noreen Russell. Noreen, thank you so much for carving out time to talk with us today. I'm really excited to get to share about your work with our audience. So, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with Russell Coaching?
Thanks, Jamie. I'm so delighted to be here. It's been great to connect with you over the last couple of months and get set up in West Virginia. So thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
absolutely.
Let's see. I think the most important thing for people to know is that I have both professional and personal experience working with neurodiverse students. I'm the mom of two teenagers, a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old, and we actually do homeschool. We are located here in Florida and we homeschool. And I got started with Russell Coaching for Students about 15 years ago at the request of psychologists in our local Tampa community to work with and mentor students who were not really in need of therapy, but definitely in need of a caring adult and a coach in their life. And over the last 14 years or so, we have expanded the practice and we now serve students across the world. And one of the things I'm really proud of is that this year we have become direct bill providers for all 6 states that have educational savings accounts or school choice scholarships. So it's been a busy year for Russell Coaching and a really good one. And part of that has been getting situated in West Virginia with your help. Thanks, Jamie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that the kind of the benefit of being established in Florida is already kind of having this expertise in how these new choice programs work and kind of that approach to partnering with parents who are looking for resources. So you just bring so much to the table. It's nice to be partnered with providers that already have some of that background coming into our West Virginia audience for sure. So let's kind of get into who you actually serve. Who are the students so that parents can kind of have a better view of who might be best served by Russell Coaching?
Sure. Thanks for asking. Our niche is really students who would be considered neurologically atypical. And so most of the students that we work with have ADHD or autism, and they frequently have anxiety or depression and or a learning difference. So in short, these are complex students who have at least one neurodevelopmental disorder, and they're bright, they're smart, they want to work at school, they have supportive families, but the fact that they have ADHD or autism means that often they are a little bit delayed maturity wise, and that their executive functioning skills can be a little bit slow to develop. And so that's who we work with. We love it. We are really the only specialty provider for neurologically atypical kids in the United States. And we see about 150 students a week, and we have 20 coaches.
Wow. And what is the average age or range that you would serve? What, like at what age could these coaching or tutoring services begin?
Sure. So I think the perfect time is middle school so that we can set the patterns before we get to high school. Nobody's life was made or broken on the basis of high school, but it is nice to enter high school with a good, strong set of skills and a team approach, which is absolutely what's needed for ADHD and autism. So I think middle school is great. We do work with students from first through college. Our elementary school students have a program called the Basics of Executive Functioning, where we teach the executive functioning skills and practice of prioritizing, time management, organization in a developmentally appropriate way for those students. And then we begin our connected coaching approach in 5th grade. So anyone in middle school or high school who has a complex son or daughter who might be struggling a little bit, not because they lack intelligence or motivation, but
Right.
because of their executive functioning skills. Those are our kids.
So tell us what that looks like. Kind of how do you serve them? What does the coaching, what are kind of the logistics for that?
Sure. So the process is all online. It's very convenient. It's easy. We start with an intake so that we can get a good sense of the student's background. And then I match the student with their coach on the basis of, maybe personality, interests, background. All of our coaches are trained in our method, which is called connected coaching. But, some have a special gift for high schoolers with autism or middle schoolers with ADHD. And so we match them and then they begin meeting regularly. Most often, that's a once a week meeting with follow up between the meetings. And we start with some basic assessments of executive functioning, learning and study skills, and strengths, which is a critical part of the coaching process. And from there, we go on to develop a coaching plan that takes advantage of the student's strengths, but also very specifically targets the areas where they have weaknesses and they need to work. We log onto their school portal during meetings, or we take a look at the classes that they're taking online or whatever curricula they're using for homeschooling. And we really work on the skills of prioritization, time management, getting the work done, becoming more independent. So the student meets with their coach once a week. We are very hands-on with whatever they're doing with school, and we set goals and build skills and then reflect on, okay, how did last week's goals go? What happened? Did you succeed? Were you able to get your math homework done all 4 days? Were you able to take your Spanish test and pass it with the grade that you wanted? If not, what got in the way? And then what do we need to work on this week? So it's very practical, tangible, hands-on. We're not teaching executive functioning skills in a vacuum. It is directly tied to whatever the student's academic and life responsibilities are.
And it's a partnership with the parent, right? Because I feel like often parents are just saying, look, I'm willing to do what I need to do. We have an expert in dyslexia that we've worked with here at the Few, and she's all about just empowering parents with these tools because the parent wants to help the child. So, what does that partnership with the parent look like for you all in your services?
Absolutely, it's a team approach. And I'm really proud to say that at Russell Coaching, we practice what we preach. We're the ones reaching out to therapists. We're the ones reaching out to teachers. We're the ones reaching out to medical providers. So for us, what that looks like is that relationship starts at the intake, which is with me. We start building that parent relationship, the trust, the confidence that they need to have in us. Parents get to meet their coach online before the coach starts with their student. And then they do receive pretty detailed reports after each and every session. So they get an update on what is the student working on, what's a goal, what strengths we're seeing, and if there are any concerns. And these are really lengthy notes. So the parent is fully informed about what's going on. And then in those weekly notes, the coach will coach the parent on what they should be doing this week.
Right.
Ask your student how their preparation for Spanish is going, but don't ask them, are they ready? Ask your student if they need any help with their math homework, but don't tell them it's time to do their math homework. Parents reach out to us. I think that, one of the strengths of our connected coaching approach is that parents really put a lot of trust and faith in us because they see the results pretty quickly within 4 to 6 weeks, and they see a decrease in the tension at home. Sometimes there can be so much conflict and stress and a gap between what needs to be happening and what is happening. And so once parents see that we're, on everyone's side, they reach out to us with concerns, and that's wonderful.
Right. And I think, I personally, I received a diagnosis of ADD when I was 27, 28 years old. And just in talking to you over the last few weeks, I'm like, I should probably be receiving coaching. I think the staff that I work with is probably like, how do we sign Jamie up for Noreen's services? Because there sometimes it's just getting me a system that I'll actually use. And then I need that support to kind of wrap around me, and I'm a grown adult who runs things. So imagine being a teenager or a young child that's really trying to figure that out, or a parent that doesn't have that experience. So I'm a huge fan of your work because I feel like the approach that you all take is actually moving the needle. And I think we're in an age where often you'll get people who say, oh, we're going to serve neurodivergent children because that's kind of trending. This is terrible to say, but it's true. But what you guys are doing, I mean, you can look at the testimonials from the parents. You are actually doing the work that is changing lives. So we're big fans of Russell Coaching, what you're doing. Somebody asked if you guys are a provider for Hope. They are. They're in the process of getting all of those services approved and added to the portal. So we'll be sure and have you in connected with Noreen and her staff at Russell Coaching so you can start inquiring about getting your students signed up for that. Noreen, where do we go to learn more? What is the website?
Sure. It's easy. It's russellcoaching.com. I've learned I need to say 2 S's and 2 L's in Russell. So RUSSELL coaching.com. And from there, you can link to all of our social media accounts and follow us and learn more about what we do. And most importantly, I want to tell anyone who's listening that if they have questions, they can reach out to me directly. I'm drrussell, so DRRUSSELL at russellcoaching.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions or tell you more about connected coaching.
Perfect. And I will go back through and add those links into the comments. And you are also in these other states. So I know we have an audience in Arizona, in Florida, Indiana. Is that right?
Yep. Indiana, North Carolina, and New Hampshire.
Okay,
and
perfect.
so then, as you know, lots of states have passed their legislation and will be starting next year. And we're already in the process of hooking up with those states. So anywhere that students and families can use their school choice money for private services, we are already an approved provider. So 6 states as of today. And we are on the portal for West Virginia.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for all that you're doing to serve students and to transform K-12 education, not just in West Virginia, but across the country. Again, I will drop those links into the comments. Noreen, thank you so much for taking time today.
Oh, Jamie, it's a pleasure. Thank you for all you do and for your collaboration with us.
Thank you.